He takes the Masterformula because that'll tell you everywhere to take a multivitamin, and that's pretty much what our Masterformula is.
Okay.
Is our multivitamin. And then he takes Super B, because we're all lacking. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand either, is that we are not getting our vitamins and minerals in our bodies anymore, like what in our diet that we need, because of all the processed foods and the toxins that we're breathing in and stuff like that. Like, we're fighting so much that we're not getting what we need. So we have to supplement no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter if you're fully organic, we have to supplement in our lives. So Super B was a big one. Multigreens, although he doesn't take the multigreens, I take the multigreens. He doesn't take them just because they've got gluten in them. They've got in the thing, so he doesn't take those. But then he's got what else is on the list? It's Super B. He takes the calcium. We do buy a separate vitamin D because we are lacking in vitamin D. And even though there is vitamin D in the Omegagize, it's not enough that we need on a daily basis. So it is a vitamin D supplement that he does take as well. And then I try really hard, because everybody needs, and actually I was doing just a lot of reading on this because somebody had just recently asked me about enzymes as well, or hormones. And it all led back to enzymes as well. And enzymes are so important for every aspect of our body. And it was incredible to read all about the hormones, but for him, enzymes are important as well.
So I wonder, Liam, like, where you are now, you're off medication, you're feeling better than you've ever felt. Your doctors have been like, you know, holy smokes, I like maybe speechless. I don't know. Those are my words, but what were your doctor's words again?
It was more like, wow, like what are you doing? Kind of like, like, what have you done? Just kind of like sort of gobsmacked to see how good my system was from the past, 4, 5, 6 years. And like they had never been able to actually see into my small intestine before, because it was always there's too much hemorrhaging and swelling, and they were just like, everything is like gone. So it was awesome. It was like, it was pretty rewarding for me to see them kind of eat their own words. And the reason they did the last scope was because I was trying to get off, saying, look, how do I get off the drugs? Do I kind of just quit? And they're like, no, we better make sure, see what's going on before you even think of that. And it was just like, see you guys.
So what would you say?
I do remember the one thing that she did say, though, when you stop the drug, she's like, you'll be back. Did she not say that to you?
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's a mindset that you have to, I think with all of this kind of stuff, you have to buy into it yourself. And once you see results, depending on how your health is before, when you start seeing results, you might realize, holy cow, this works, and it's worth it. I'm gonna keep going, try even harder.
Definitely.
And you in my case, it's worth it. I'd do it over again in a heartbeat. Like,
I hear you.
And because the lifestyle before it's no fun running to the bathroom 10 times a day when you can have the best guts in the house.
Pretty much does.
The bummer is it usually does take time, to see results, and the fact that people do just want to see results so quick. But for the people that say, oh, I've tried that and it didn't work,
for a couple days.
That I think too, sometimes maybe they're not even doing things exactly right either, because it's so easy for people to cheat and to say, oh yeah, I did it the right way, or I did it, and but did you?
The one thing I do have to say is that this community of people is what led us to all of these decisions that we made. I definitely have to say that if it wasn't for this community, we probably wouldn't be where we are, because it was those decisions that, talking to different people, I feel like we're just surrounded by a huge community of like-minded people that are on the same path and the same, just that sort of thing. So it was a decision that was made for us after speaking to certain people, and Carla Green was a huge person in our lives with that.
Yeah.
And what she did say to us too, though, is there's things that we just don't realize, because I'll never forget when she talked about gluten, going gluten-free. She's like, that's so important, and we need to get that out of our bodies. But she said one of the biggest things is, and I would have never even thought about this, because that's not my lifestyle at all, is sometimes when you just eliminate gluten, it's not going to make an impact on your life. It did for him. Well, mind you, we did do both of them. So for the first month, we went gluten and dairy free. She goes, because they are a huge crossover. And I wouldn't have even known that. But because of this community and just talking to people, we did gluten and dairy free for a month, the whole family. And we noticed for my husband a huge impact on that, right? He's now been able to bring in dairy back in, and notice that it hasn't changed anything. So it was strictly the gluten for him. But for some people, just eliminating that one thing may not work, right?
Yeah.
You have to, that's all, everybody's made up so differently. And our toxic levels are so different. We don't know what's in people's homes. We have no idea what they're breathing in. Even if they've completely eliminated all the toxin, are they breathing in mold every day, right? Like we have no idea. So like when I honestly say it's worked for him, we don't know if it's going to work for other people, right? But you've got to be able to be open. Like Liam said, you've got to be open. He always says buy into it, but you need to be open to the different things and listen to everybody's story, because those stories have led us to where we are today. Yeah. And that was really important for me to understand as well. Like sometimes you're like, oh, right. But if you just listen and you're open-minded to it, it can change your life.
Listen with a new perspective, a new mind, new mindset. Yeah. It took me a while to do that too. I was very skeptical at the beginning, and I have to agree with you. The lifestyle has made such an impact, because to have that support of people and the access, the online access as well, to thousands of people who have dealt with something similarly, or you can search and connect with people. And never in my past life and have I ever heard of being connected to that many people at my fingertips, and being able to ask questions and get answers related to my health. It kind of blows my mind sometimes when I think about it. Like it's a massive supportive network. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is. And this is the thing, is that like I find like by no means are we like doctors, or like we're not here to like always reach out to your doctor when you have questions like this, because that's what he did. He did absolutely go to his doctor and reach out and ask different questions like that with it, and just making sure that everything was jiving and things like that. So there's no way or means that we're here telling you how to do this. Like definitely check in with your doctor and things like that. But I also do believe that doctors are also they haven't dealt with everything either. I just had a friend, her little girl got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and the number one thing that the doctor told her was that food has nothing to do with it. And I nearly choked. I was like, are you kidding me? Right? And so they're like, absolutely not, and she's going to be on medication for the rest of her life. And my friend just said, have you met my friend Liam?
Really, a lot of the foods we're eating aren't much different, because we really don't even know half the stuff that's in it. And because they say, like I've read stuff online, like the talk before, when I introduced Corey Deacon there a year ago, basically was all to do with reading up on some of the chemicals as used as sweeteners, where it actually said online, known to cause cancer in rats, but safe enough for humans. Like the small amount is still safe for human consumption. And it absolutely like blew my mind to read that. And that's how ignorant we are as humans, that we don't even know what we're buying, and then we're feeding it to our kids. And that here I am, I've gone through all the struggles I've gone through with my health, and now I'm like, my kids are probably genetically more inclined to maybe be following my path. Why are we feeding them a lot of this stuff? Why aren't we trying to try our best to keep them from having to go through what I've gone through?
Every body's different. Hey, like some bodies are so much more sensitive to some of these things and react younger in life, and some people, like, it becomes a toxic soup in their body over time. and their bodies react later in life, but then it's more serious too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Well, I do say that autoimmune disease, and not just Crohn's, but autoimmune disease itself, is 100% linked back to toxins in our lifestyle. And that can be toxins in our food, or toxins that we're putting on our skin, or toxins just in the air. So that's something to think about. So those are what's triggering all this autoimmune disease in our society today, is because of all of these toxins. And just because there's a little bit does add up, and that's what's
it sure does.
That's what's causing all the havoc in our lives. So, and I'm so passionate about it and trying to get it out of our homes, because
I know I am too.
My kids are predisposed to it now, right? Because daddy has a disease, and I don't want that to continue on. And it's generations back too. We think about exactly what our grandparents did. And interesting fact is that Liam's grandpa owned a wheat field, and his uncle took it over, and his uncle fought and got through lymphoma, cancer.
Right.
His mom just fought and conquered it as well. And as you walk through the farm, is it your mom walking through the farm, and what do they see all through the farm is these big barrels of empty chemicals.
Right.
And you ask the farmers, have you ever thought about not using that on your farms? And they're like, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So realistically, what it does come down, and you did bring that up, is that it does come down to money. But what is, I'd rather pay all the money to have him still here and him healthy in our life, instead of him in the hospital every month. And that's where we were. He was pretty much in the hospital, or he was in pain every second day. He wasn't living a life that he could be happy with, right? So what is money worth to you, right? Like, to me, it's his health is worth anything. It's worth $1 million, right? And so it doesn't matter to me, but it's not expensive. It's not expensive when you take control of it now. It ends up being actually cheaper, because he's learned how to eat less. But it ends up working out to be cheaper, because you get those supplements in your body, and people are like, oh, it's so much money, but they're there. It's just a constant now. It's just there, and it just becomes part of our food. Our food budget is the supplements. And it's just, I don't find it to be expensive. It may be a little bit more upfront at the beginning, but in the long run, it's probably saving us money. So, but
the sad thing, I mean, even nowadays, just to eat healthy is crazy expensive. It's way cheaper to eat like
crap.
McDonald's.
That's the thing.
Fast food, and that's one of the first things, of course, once I started changing my health, was I don't eat fast food, and it's night and day. It actually, like, to bring it into a vehicle is almost like makes you gag. Like, it's unbelievable. It's like an ex-smoker that can't stand the smell of smoke, right? It's the weirdest thing.
It is far pricier to be in the hospital, not working, not being able to support your family, working part-time or whatever it is, and the actual financial loss of being sick is astronomical. Right?
That's even something that was always on my mind, knowing, like, seeing my brother having had 2 surgeries, and seeing the time off work, and he was fortunate. He had a job where he was able to be okay with it. But myself, I knew I didn't know what would happen. It was something that was always in the back of my head. Like, if I had to go through that, how are we going to survive, right? And now I don't have to even think about that. So
it's well worth it.
Huge.
I think that's something that unless someone has had any health issues, I think sometimes it's hard to understand and think that maybe some things are expensive. But I think with the rate of the amount of people with different illnesses and whether it be cancer or hormonal issues or thyroid issues, I think it's becoming more apparent that we all need to help each other more and more, and listen to each other and work as a community and support each other. And so I'm really grateful to know you guys.
Right on.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Have a great night, and I'll talk to you more about this later and just let you know when I'm going to post it and stuff.
Sounds great.
Okay, you guys, have a good night.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.